Well, the Americans will recognise that name. I had only discovered it a while back, but not many people stock or sell it over in the UK, but clearly this is marketed for the UK market. It seems there's British locomotives in that scene. It's about £30 plus postage. I managed to get this one for I think around about 22 with the post. So about a £10 saving for an engine shed kit. There is an N-gauge version of this, which I think is more readily available. As you can see from my last video, I had bought some leftovers from somebody, a different seller. So I'm now wondering, we have the sides on this and a back panel. And thinking, oops, different size building. Same height though, as you can see. That was the back panel I got, so it's just a smaller scale building, so we could have a open extension on one side. There is potential for some kit bashing here, which also means my side panels will fit. So depending on the roof type material, I'm presuming I don't want to open it yet and then end up losing all the bits. I think we're going to have to. Yeah, so our bits in there could already prove useful. Well, I hope everyone's had a good Christmas, as I probably assume by the time this video comes out on YouTube the event will have already happened, as I'm about 4 or 5 videos ahead. So as you can see, I've got one of my fair price kits I'm doing again, which is the main building and then the 2 little outbuildings, which are symmetrical. Just a few offcuts in there. I've been making the first section of the chimney and the little pieces that the chimney pots sit in. And I've just had a set of headers turn up to put on the MP3 8-channel player. But nothing else much happened really. I've had some PGAs turn up, some PGA Yeoman hoppers, 4 of those, but that's about it as we're winding down at the minute. Well, sometimes to get the wagons you do want, you have to buy some that you don't want. So I ended up with these. This one's pleasantly surprising. Because I wanted one of these that was in better nick than one of the other ones I've got, and another PTA to help complete the rake. This is a bit of a, well, I know what it is, or what it might have been. The box is a bit squashed, but I moved it around and I can hear it like dry sand rolling around, which is actually I think track ballast because it's a building, but there is a bag of I don't know what I'm going to have here. I bet I'm not going to be laughing in a minute. Well, that would explain why there's ballast. I thought it might have poured out of the building because well, I haven't got to that bit yet, but yeah, there's a hole in the bag. So we've got Jarvis granite chippings all over the box and in every piece of paper, which keeps pinging out all over my freaking table. Bear with us. Well, there was enough worth me decanting it back into the bag. Well, for me anyway, because I'm a tight ass. So let's actually have a look at what I purchased. So that is the little building. There was a few minor issues with it, such as the handrails broken off. The chutes I've just tested, they do work on solenoids. They're a little bit rusty, need cleaning up. Obviously it needs painting and weathering, although it's had a little bit of work done to it. It's obviously not quite there. Yeah, so you've got a common, basically like a point turnout motor. A common and then 2 coils. So your supply current opens the chute or closes the chute. A few little minor detail parts that have parted company over the period of time, nothing major. Should be a little potbelly stove in there with a chimney coming out, you know, nothing it's supposed to be a bit ramshackled, and the roof panel here has come off, and I don't know, if I was building it from a kit I would probably incorporate a little container in here to feed the chutes, because the chutes do operate via the solenoids, as I said, so that discharges through. Obviously you haven't got a lot of capacity in these, you'd fill one wagon up and that would be empty. And I suppose the idea is the truck would drive in and it would go up an elevator there and then feed the chutes. Then you have your wagons or rail vehicles, such as the one supplied, which is a UF operating hopper. Never seen one of them before, but yeah, so that would come along and fill up. But I've just had a look, they still make the kit. It's about, well, between £70 and £90 depending on where you go. I got it for £9.50. This stuff is starting to turn out to be a bit of a pain in the prost area. I have successfully used it on 3 buildings, as you'd seen in my previous little restoration video, and I was in the process of doing this building, and I'd got as far as trimming and cutting one, but this is probably, I don't know, the 4th attempt at gluing it. The other one's clamped under there. It's not using the Bostik glue. I didn't have any other glue, and I've managed to track some Yoo-hoo down at Poundland, but I did buy a twin pack. I don't know whether it's based on this or Yoo-hoo or something else. For some reason it's not that easy to get hold of around here. Wilkinson's had 0 stock when I done an order in November. I don't know whether you can see this in the light. It's bowed and bubbled, and so's that one. This stuff does contain MEK, which is methyl ethyl ketone, which is liquid poly cement, but obviously it's just a thicker version and it's got other stuff chucked in it. But what's been happening, I can't see it so easy now, is it seems to hold round the window aperture and then bow, but I mean it's sort of fairly quickly, it's happened within a day or two. I've sort of noticed it. I thought it was my little heater I've got on my desk over here, that little thing blowing hot air over here. You know, it had got too hot and warped it, but I've sort of repeatedly done this, clamped it and glued it, and then within a day or so it's curved and bowed and popped off again and delaminated, and it keeps doing it. And that one seems to have held with PVA, but it's got a little bit of deformation in it from the plastic reacting with the glue, I guess. But whether it was something to do, because I was right down the bottom of the tubes, or whether there's some chemical mix that was it don't stick. So I'm attempting now, I've tried it with PVA this time, but I'm not hopeful. But if not, I'm going to have to bin the lot of this and start all over again. But I happen to just be moving the other buildings off my table, and this is sort of like it's done it as well. The other two don't seem to be affected yet. No, it's not heat, because we haven't got any central heating in the house, so it's not like it's been near a radiator and warped. But not only is it sort of peeled away, And it doesn't seem to be like memory effect from the sheets being slightly curved, because they're all nice and flat, have been. But it's cracked across that first two, and these are all nicely stuck down now, so I don't know whether I'll be able to salvage, just to try and, you know, put another sheet down and glue this all again. These aren't going to come off as easy this time as they did last time, and plus I'd have to take all the windows off so I can get in and cut the frames out. So I'm hoping I can try and save it and just weather it up and make it look like a, you know, our brickwork's not doing too well. But why it's done it, I don't know. As yet the other side seems unaffected, and the original building, which was the first part of the tube, touch wood, hopefully, no sign of any bubbling or delamination on that one or the other building. So I'm going to see what happens with this one, then start the other little outhouse and use the Yoo-hoo or copy decks. So it's kind of thrown a bit of a spanner in the works now, because I've got to try and get glue underneath here all the way through, and then successfully clamp every piece of it, which is not as easy as you think, because even using these little clamps, the other ones I've got won't clamp up as tight as this Woolcraft one. If I remove that clamp, that bit will be flat, but the bit below it will be bowed, so you've got to literally have everything sandwiched down, which obviously means you need something that's non-stick, because invariably glue will lose out from somewhere. It's not so bad on something this size, but and this one I've tried again. I've got a clip down there, clamps there, and a vice in the bottom, so I will just see whether it's win, lose or draw. Well, it's better than the other one. It's still not, you can see a little bit halfway between the window there. I've got to clean it up, but I shall leave them and just see if they curl again. Let me see. If it grabs them hard enough, it should keep it on the sheet. Unfortunately, because I've cut this and repeatedly re-glued it, it's about 1 millimetre too far over, so there's now a little bit of exposed area down there where my thumbnail is. So I shall have to colour that in with brick colour and then trim this piece off. But it's a bit of a bloody annoyance, plus that'll mean this isn't going to flush up against the wall now. But being as it's just a little outhouse from around the back, I don't think it'll be the end of the world. But yeah, you can see there in the light how sort of looks like the bricklayer was pissed that day he laid. But good effect, I suppose. Show a bit of movement in the building. Not the kind of movement I wanted to depict though. So yeah, now I might bin these ones, because I've done this several times now. Just find another piece of scrap and do these at the end, because that just doesn't go. Even when it held last time, it started lifting again, and it's it holds in some places but not others. But you can see when I take it off how it's reacted. So back to the drawing board.